Hi, this is Allison Satoff, the Art for Elementary School Teachers adjunct professor, and today we are making some mini weavings of minions. We're going to make our own loom. We're going to talk about warp, weft, selvage, and what a loom is. So we're just going to get started. First of all, the supplies that you're going to need are 3 straws. These are going to work as your loom. If you have the little flexible piece on your straw, go ahead and cut it off. That'll make weaving difficult. And your straws don't have to be very long, so this works fine without the little accordion on it. You also need 3 black pieces of string that are 2 feet long each. This string is going to work as the warp. The warp is the part of the weaving that attaches to the loom. So you're just going to take each straw and a pair of scissors and cut just a little snip into each straw at one end. Go ahead and weave your warp through the straw. Then at the end, you're just going to pull the string through so that it is not moving. It's going to be stuck where the slit was cut. Go ahead and do that to all 3 straws so that you have your loom and your loom has been threaded with the warp. Just pulled on it so that it would stick in the little slit that I cut with the scissors. Take all 3 straws and take the end like this, and you just want to tie this together like you're tying a water balloon. You're going to wrap it around your fingers so that you have a loop, and then stick the 3 ends together through the loop. Pull it nice and tight. Now your loom is ready to weave. The next thing you need is 2 feet of black string. So there's 1, 2. It's always good to get a little bit more than you need. That's what selvage is. Selvage is that little bit of extra string that you need to tie with. So you need 2 feet of black, 5 feet of yellow, 5 feet of blue yarn, 6 inches of black, so you just need 1 short piece of black, 2 more feet of yellow, and then you're ready to start tying your strings together. These strings are called weft. The weft gets woven into the warp. So we're going to actually start with the 2 feet of black, and then we're going to add the blue to the black. So we have 5 feet of blue that we're tying onto the black. Pull it nice and tight. You've got a couple of little bunny ears. You can trim them down to about a 1/2 inch. Then you're going to attach yellow to the blue. So just take the end of the blue and take your 5-foot piece of yellow, put the 2 ends side by side, wrap them around your fingers, and stick the 2 ends through the loop. You're tying it just like you're tying a water balloon. Cut it so that you've got a couple little bunny ears that are about a 1/2 inch long. Then you're going to attach to the yellow the 6 inches of black. So grab your black and wrap them around your fingers, make a loop, and pull it. And then to the black, we're going to attach the 2 feet of yellow. So we have 2 feet of black, 5 feet of blue, 5 feet of yellow, 6 inches of black, and then 2 feet of yellow. We're going to start with black. And we're just going to tie a double knot around one of the straws. So just take one straw and tie a double knot. So I've just attached the black to one of the straws. I'm going to put the straw that has the string attached on the end. You're going to start weaving. You're going to go around and around and around. When you weave the weft, you weave over, under, over, under, over, under. That's exactly what we're doing. So we're just going to weave around like figure eights. At first, it's kind of difficult to hold, but you just hold it in your hand like this and start wrapping it around. And as it starts to fill up, you can just push it down, get it out of your way, and keep going. You've already got your second color tied on. So you're just gonna keep going on with the Minion's blue jeans. We just finished his shoes. This project really does not take very long. It may take kids longer. I would say this would be a really good 3rd, 4th, or 5th grade project. It's a nice way to introduce weaving, to talk about what a loom is. A loom could be made of cardboard, evidently straws. Sometimes a loom is gigantic and you almost feel as if you're sitting at a piano bench, or at a piano, on a piano bench to weave. I've done that before. And there are factories that have looms that would fill up an entire room. But this way, a child can make their own loom. They're making a cute little minion. So I'm done with the blue. Got his little blue pants done. I'm starting on the actual body of the minion. As you are wrapping your strings around, these little knots are gonna pop through. Just leave them sticking out. Right now they don't matter. I'll show you what to do with them in a minute. As you're weaving, if it gets too long for the straws, it's okay if they come off. They're not going to actually fall off. They're okay. Just keep going. Now, we are doing a Minion project. It could lead up to a fun opportunity for kids to actually watch the Minions. Unfortunately, one of my warp fell down through, but I can see it right here. I'm gonna see if I can get it to come back through. And I'm actually gonna try to suck it through. That doesn't work. What I was starting to say was this would be a fun project to do leading up to the opportunity to watch the Minions. And the Minions doesn't have to be the long movie version. They have lots of Minion cartoons that are just a half hour long. Okay, fortunately I was able to pull it back through, and I'm just gonna tuck it back into the crease. Something you could do if you're worried about that happening is actually putting a piece of tape on each one. I'm just fortunate that I saw it before I got completely done weaving, or the string actually fell all the way through. And I'm just gonna keep going. For those of you who are in my class, if you weren't in class today because you're independent study, your supplies will be in the closet or on the table at the back of the room, the white table. You're always free to call me if you have questions. Right, I'm getting close to being done with his body. I'm ready to add goggles. So the 6 inches that we added was for the goggles, so that'll look cute. You can see that the Minion has his goggles on his one eyeball. And when you go to put your eyes on, once again, we're using googly eyes. I had no idea how many times we would use googly eyes this semester, but we're using them quite a bit. You can use one eye or two, doesn't matter. I'm almost finished. Does not take very long. Okay, so I've got a little bit of string left. Basically, it's my selvage because this is what I need to tie with. I'm just going to tie this onto one of the straws. Just gonna make a little loop, wrap it around one straw, and then I'm going to tie a knot, and I want to tie a double knot because you don't want it to come untied. So I've just tied a double knot around the straw. Basically, it's going to be a double knot that's tied around one of the black strings. When you get done wrapping all of your strings around the straws, you can simply pull the straws out. So you're just going to pull the straws through like this. Ooh, that was close. Pull this through. Okay, the next thing you want to do is shape his body so that he looks like a little minion. Where we tied the 3 strings together right here, where we tied the warp together, you want to push all of the weft down to the warp. Make sure you look at the front, make sure his body looks nice, there's not a lot of gaps. You kind of want to squish it down so that your strings are tight. And then, before you go any farther, before you squish anymore, if you have any knots that landed on the front, you can go ahead and push them through to the back. Fortunately, all of my knots landed on the back. I don't have any knots on the front, so that one worked out really well. The next thing that's going to happen is I'm going to take my 3 strings and I'm going to do the water balloon knot. I actually need to cut my straws off so that I can pull the 3 strings through the knot. Pull it nice and tight, and then I'm just going to trim it so that my Minion has his 3 little hairs sticking up. I'm going to trim the bottom. So I've got his little body, and I'm ready to put on a dot of glue. I can decide if I want 1 eye or 2. I'm actually doing 2 eyes this time. So I made 1 eye a little bigger than the other. I think it looks funny that way. So I now have a Minion with 1 eye, a Minion with 2 eyes, and another Minion with 2 eyes. On the back, if these strings bother you, you could put a little bit of glue to glue them down. It just takes a little while for the glue to dry on the yarn. So you'll just want to glue that down. So I need you to write up a lesson plan for the Minion mini weaving. And if you have any questions, let me know.